Chance encounters. Olivia Lynn adjusted her camera strap, scanning the crowded gallery space of the Prism, Boston's newest contemporary art venue. Tonight's exhibition opening was packed with the city's elite, here to see the controversial works of painter Julian Reed. As the freelance photographer hired to document the event, Olivia knew to remain invisible while capturing authentic moments. 3 more hours, she whispered to herself, flexing her fingers before raising her camera again. At 32, Olivia had built a respectable portfolio and reputation in the industry. After leaving her corporate marketing job 4 years ago, photography had become her sanctuary and livelihood. Her specialty was finding beauty in unguarded moments, a skill that made her sought after for events like these. "Excuse me, but are you taking requests tonight?" The voice came from behind her, deep and slightly amused. Olivia turned to find herself looking up at a tall man with warm brown eyes and a subtle smile. Unlike most attendees in their polished designer wear, he wore a simple charcoal suit that somehow looked more expensive than anyone else's. "I'm working for the gallery, not taking portraits," she replied professionally, though something about his gaze made her pulse quicken. Pity. "I was hoping you might capture something more interesting than people pretending to understand abstract art." His eyes crinkled at the corners when he smiled. Despite herself, Olivia laughed. "That's exactly what I've been doing for the past hour." "I'm Theo," he said, extending his hand. "Olivia?" Their hands met briefly, and she felt an unexpected spark of connection. "So, Olivia the photographer, what do you think of Reed's work?" He gestured toward a massive canvas dominated by jagged red strokes. Before she could answer, the lights flickered once, twice, and then plunged the gallery into darkness. A collective gasp rose from the crowd, followed by nervous laughter and the glow of cell phone flashlights. "Perfect timing," Theo whispered, suddenly closer in the darkness. "Now we can be honest about the art." Olivia felt herself smiling in the dark. "I think it's pretentious, but there's something genuine beneath the showmanship." The emergency generators hummed to life, casting the space in dim, atmospheric lighting. In this softer glow, Theo looked different, more approachable, less polished. "The gallery manager says power might be out for an hour," he said, checking his phone. "May I buy you a drink while we wait?" "The bar is still serving." Sensible Olivia would have declined. But something about the unusual circumstances, or perhaps something about Theo himself, made her nod. They found a quiet corner with their drinks, and conversation flowed with surprising ease. He asked thoughtful questions about her photography, listened intently to her answers. She learned he worked in sustainable technology, traveled frequently, and had a dry wit that made her laugh more than she had in months. When the lights finally returned, Olivia felt a twinge of disappointment. "I should get back to work," she said reluctantly. "Of course." Theo hesitated, then added, "Would you consider coffee sometime? Or perhaps dinner?" Olivia rarely dated. Her work kept her busy, and past relationships had taught her caution. But tonight felt different, like the beginning of something worth exploring. "I'd like that," she said, pulling out her business card. "My personal number is on the back." Their fingers brushed as he took the card, sending that same electric feeling through her hand. "Until then, Olivia." He slipped the card into his pocket and disappeared into the revived crowd. The rest of the evening, she found herself scanning faces, hoping for another glimpse of him. But Theo had vanished, leaving only the lingering sensation that something significant had just begun, a feeling both exhilarating and terrifying. As she packed her equipment at evening's end, her phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "Thank you for making a mundane event extraordinary. Dinner tomorrow? Theo." Olivia smiled to herself, typing a simple reply. "Yes." Sometimes the most unexpected encounters led to the most meaningful connections. And something told her this was just the beginning. Hidden agendas. 2 weeks after the gallery opening, Olivia waited nervously in the lobby of Horizon Innovations, camera bag at her feet. Their dinner had turned into several more evenings together, each one deepening her connection with Theo. When he'd mentioned his company needed a photographer for their annual report, she'd submitted her portfolio without hesitation. Now seated in the gleaming headquarters, doubt crept in. Had she crossed a professional boundary? Was dating a potential client a mistake? Ms. Lin? The receptionist approached. Mr. Hayes will see you now. Olivia followed her through a maze of glass corridors to a conference room where 3 executives waited. No sign of Theo. Welcome to Horizon, said a woman with a silver bob. I'm Vivian Mercer, Chief Marketing Officer. We're impressed with your portfolio. They discussed the project, corporate portraits, facility shots, documentary-style images of their sustainable energy initiatives. As they wrapped up, Vivian handed her a contract. One more thing, Vivian added. Our CEO specifically requested you for this project. Olivia's heart stuttered. Your CEO? The door opened and Theo walked in. Except he wasn't just Theo anymore. He was Theodore Hayes, founder and CEO of Horizon Innovations, a company valued at billions. Olivia, he said, smiling that same warm smile from the gallery. Thank you for coming. After the others filed out, silence hung between them. You didn't mention you owned the company, she finally said. I wanted you to know me as just Theo. He moved closer. Not as someone with power or influence. But you knew who I was from the beginning, didn't you? The realization dawned slowly. Theo looked down, then met her eyes. Yes, I saw your exhibition at Riverside Gallery last year. When your name came up on the gallery's photographer list, I wanted to meet you. The confession landed like a stone. He'd sought her out deliberately, orchestrated their chance meeting. So our meeting wasn't random at all. The connection we felt was real, he insisted. I just created an opportunity for it to happen. Olivia gathered her belongings, mind racing. I need time to process this. The project is yours regardless, Theo said quietly. No strings attached. Outside, Boston's spring sunshine felt at odds with her confusion. Theo had manufactured their first meeting, approached her with an agenda, yet every moment since had felt genuine. The way he listened, laughed, shared parts of himself, that couldn't all be fabrication. That evening, her phone lit up with his name. I should have been honest from the start, his message read. But I've been honest in every moment since. The project is yours if you want it, and I'll keep my distance. Or we can talk, really talk, about where we go from here. Olivia stared at the screen for a long time before replying, I'll take the project. And maybe after that we can talk. Professional curiosity, and something deeper she wasn't ready to name, wouldn't let her walk away just yet. Walls of Glass: The Horizon project took Olivia to 3 countries in 6 weeks. From wind farms in Scotland to solar installations in Arizona, she documented the company's environmental initiatives with Theo, always somewhere in the periphery. Professional. Respectful, maintaining the distance she'd requested. In Barcelona, that changed. After a day photographing their marine conservation partnership, Olivia found herself alone with Theo on the company yacht, watching the sunset paint the Mediterranean gold. Your work is extraordinary, he said, reviewing her shots on her laptop. You see things others miss. That's the job, she replied, though his praise warmed her. No, it's more than that. You find humanity in everything, even corporate projects that could be sterile. The sea breeze stirred her hair as they fell into conversation about childhoods, his privileged but lonely, hers middle class and stable, favorite books, they both loved Gabriel Garcia Marquez, and dreams deferred. She'd once wanted to document conflict zones. He'd considered architecture before business. Why did you really want to meet me, Theo? She finally asked. The truth this time. He considered her question, gazing at the darkening horizon. Your photographs made me feel seen. Even though you'd never met me, you captured something in your subjects that I recognized in myself. Isolation within connection. Loneliness in crowded rooms. He turned to her. I wanted to meet someone who saw the world that way. Something shifted between them as the first stars appeared. Walls carefully maintained began to crumble. I've been keeping my distance because I thought that's what you wanted, he said softly. I did. I don't know anymore. When he kissed her, it felt like finally arriving somewhere she'd been traveling toward without knowing. His hands cradled her face with a gentleness that contradicted his powerful presence. That night became the first of many. In Tokyo, they explored hidden neighborhoods together after working hours. In London, they sheltered from rain in museums, laughing like teenagers as they dripped on marble floors. Yet for all their growing closeness, Olivia sensed Theo still holding something back. Sometimes she'd catch him watching her with an expression she couldn't decipher, something almost like guilt. "What aren't you telling me?" she asked one night in his London apartment. "Nothing that matters now," he answered, pulling her closer. But it did matter. Trust built on partial truths had foundations of sand. As her feelings deepened, that knowledge nagged at her consciousness. The project neared completion, and with it, the structured reason for their continued connection. Without work binding them together, what remained would have to stand on its own, truthful and transparent, or not at all. In New York, their final destination, Olivia made a decision. Whatever lay between them deserved a chance, but only with complete honesty. "No more walls," she whispered to herself as she prepared for their final shoot. Not his, not mine. Part 4, Shattered Truths. The New York Gala celebrating Horizon's anniversary should have been a triumphant conclusion to their project. Olivia moved through the crowd, capturing images of donors and executives against the Manhattan skyline, aware of Theo's occasional glance from across the room. Later, they would talk, really talk. She'd prepared herself to be vulnerable, to acknowledge her growing feelings despite their complicated beginning. "Olivia?" A woman's voice interrupted her thoughts. Vivian Mercer approached, champagne in hand. "Your work has transformed our corporate image. Theodore was right about you." "Thank you," Olivia smiled. "It's been an incredible opportunity." "He has quite the eye for talent," Vivian continued. "First spotting your gallery exhibition, then following your career for 2 years before bringing you on board." The room seemed to tilt slightly. 2 years? Oh, yes. He's had your portfolio on his desk since your underground photography series. When the Prism booking came up, one of our subsidiaries, he made sure you were assigned. Vivian smiled, oblivious to Olivia's shock. "Quite the orchestration to get you here, but the results speak for themselves. 2 years. Not a chance encounter precipitated by seeing her exhibition. Not even a recent interest. For 2 years he had watched her career. Planned their meeting, deliberately concealed the extent of his interest. The revelation felt like a violation. When Vivian drifted away, Olivia found herself on the balcony, gulping cool night air. Theo found her there, his expression changing when he saw her face. "What's wrong?" 2 years, Theo." Her voice was steady despite her churning emotions. "You've been watching me for 2 years." Understanding dawned in his eyes, followed by resignation. "I can explain." "Explain stalking me? Planning an elaborate scheme to bring me into your life under false pretenses?" The hurt transformed to anger.
"Was anything real?"
"Everything between us has been real," he insisted, reaching for her hand. She pulled away. "How can I believe that? You constructed this entire situation, my presence at the gallery, this project, all of it, based on some obsession." "Not obsession," he said quietly. "Recognition. Of what?" "Someone who might understand me." His voice cracked slightly. "Your work showed me a perspective I'd never encountered. Someone who saw beauty in isolation, connection in fleeting moments. I didn't know how to approach you authentically. So you lied instead. I created an opportunity. Everything after was genuine." Olivia gathered her camera equipment, hands trembling. "I was falling in love with you, Theo. But I can't love someone I don't trust." The pain in his eyes nearly broke her resolve. But she'd built her life on seeing truth through her lens, capturing authentic moments. She couldn't compromise that for anyone, not even him. "The project is complete," she said, professional mask firmly in place. "You'll have all edited images by next week." She left him standing alone against the glittering skyline, her heart splintering with each step away. Brave new beginnings. 3 months passed. Olivia's photographs for Horizon won industry recognition, bringing new clients and opportunities. Professionally, everything was perfect. Personally, she felt hollow. She'd almost convinced herself she'd made the right choice when the invitation arrived, an exhibition opening at a small gallery in her neighborhood. The featured artist, Theodore Hayes. Curiosity overcame her resolve. On opening night, she slipped in quietly, unprepared for what she found. The gallery walls displayed photographs, not professional quality, but raw and honest. Theo's photographs, documenting the same places they'd traveled together, but from his perspective. Each image was paired with handwritten notes, reflections, confessions, pieces of himself laid bare. In Barcelona, she sees beauty where others see function. I'm learning to look through her eyes. In Tokyo, for the first time, I'm not lonely in a crowded city. The final photograph showed Olivia herself, unaware, camera raised to her eye in the London rain. The note beside it read simply, "I've never been seen until she looked at me." Not exactly gallery quality. She turned to find Theo standing behind her, uncertainty replacing his usual confidence. "You took these?" He nodded. "I wanted to show you my perspective. No filters, no agendas. Just truth." He gestured around. "This is how I experienced our time together." "Why didn't you tell me the whole truth from the beginning?" "Fear," he admitted. "I'd built a company, achieved success, but never connected with anyone who saw past that. When I found your work, it felt like discovering someone speaking a language I'd always known but never heard spoken," he continued, voice low. "I convinced myself that creating a chance meeting was harmless. By the time I realized my mistake, I was afraid of losing you. So you lost me anyway." "Yes." His eyes held hers. "But I needed to try once more. Honestly, this time." Olivia moved through the gallery again, seeing their shared journey through his eyes, her laughter, her concentration, moments she'd thought private now preserved through his lens. "I've spent 3 months learning to be the man you deserve," Theo said when she returned to him. "Someone worthy of your trust. And who is that man?" "Someone who understands that real connections can't be engineered. They have to be earned day by day with complete honesty." He took a breath. "I don't expect forgiveness. I just wanted you to know that you changed me. You taught me to see truly." The walls Olivia had rebuilt after leaving him began to crumble. She'd missed him, his mind, his laugh, the way he'd made her feel both challenged and accepted. "I can't promise anything," she said finally. "I'm not asking for promises. Just coffee. A new beginning, one photograph at a time." Outside the gallery, snow began to fall, transforming the ordinary street into something magical. Olivia thought about fresh starts, clean slates, about the courage it took to be vulnerable enough to try again. "Coffee," she agreed, feeling something tight within her chest begin to loosen. "We can start there." As they walked through the gentle snowfall, Theo reached for her hand, hesitant. She let him take it, their fingers intertwining. Sometimes the most beautiful images emerged from negative exposures. Sometimes the truest connections formed after everything else was stripped away. And sometimes the bravest act wasn't walking away, but giving someone the chance to begin again, honestly this time. "Tell me something I don't know about you," she said as they found shelter in a small cafe. Snow melting in their hair. Theo smiled, the warmth reaching his eyes. "Everything. Let me tell you everything." And in that moment, surrounded by steam from coffee cups and the soft murmur of strangers, Olivia knew they were finally seeing each other clearly. No agendas, no secrets. Just two people choosing to begin again, with eyes and hearts wide open.